Most traders would agree that the fear of losing money is one of their worst nightmares. I've been there, feeling afraid and constantly losing money. But I found a way to turn things around. So if you are tired of fear making you lose money and stress out, keep watching. Learn how to make it work for you and become a profitable trader. Now, what if I told you your fear of losing money could actually make you a profitable trader? It all comes down to a simple math formula. Let me show you how. Back in August of 2013, I started my trading journey with high hopes. After a few lucky wins, I thought I had it all figured out. My account was growing and I felt unstoppable. But then I started losing consistently. Suddenly, fear took over and I would sit there, paralyzed, staring at my screen and second-guessing every move. That fear was not helping me. It was pushing me to make even bigger mistakes. Now, years later, I use a simple formula every time I trade. It is so simple, you will wonder why nobody taught you this on day one. This formula is all about controlling your risk. Let me show you how it works with some real numbers. Back when I was making those costly mistakes, I had a $2,500 account. Now here is the key. I decided to never risk more than 1% of my account on a single trade. That's just $25. This simple 1% rule changed everything for me. Now, I use this simple rule every time I trade. It is like a safety net that lets me make better choices without that overwhelming fear. When I feel that feeling of anxiety, it is usually a sign to check how much money I am risking and make sure I am sticking to the 1% rule. This is the first step in using your fear to become a better trader. Remember, we are not trying to get rid of fear. We are learning to use it to help us. With the 1% rule, you are turning your fear into something that keeps you disciplined and focused. It's your first strategy for staying in the game long enough to get good at this. But managing risk is just the beginning. There is another powerful way to use fear to your advantage. It is a strategy that is used by one of the most successful traders in history, and it might surprise you. What if I told you that the fear you feel before placing a trade is not your weakness? If used well, it can help you to make smarter and more profitable trades. Here's how. In 1992, George Soros, one of the most successful hedge fund managers in history, made one of the most legendary trades ever. He bet against the British pound, a terrifying move that could have cost him billions if it went wrong. But instead of ignoring his fear, Soros used it to his advantage. Soros and his team spent weeks analyzing every possible scenario, including the worst ones. Their fear did not paralyze them. It energized them, pushing them to prepare more thoroughly than anyone else. And when the day came, Soros bet against the pound with a conviction that shocked the financial world. People thought he was crazy. Surely, the Bank of England was too big to fail. But here's the crazy part. Soros was not acting on blind courage. He was acting on fear-driven preparation. And when the pound crashed, Soros' fund made $1 billion in a single day. Now, I'm not saying we are all going to make $1 billion tomorrow, but Soros' approach teaches us something about fear in trading. It's about using that fear of loss to push you to prepare really well so that you act with confidence when others are panicking. And this got me thinking, what if we could use this idea in our everyday trades? What if instead of trying to get rid of our fear of losing money, we could use it to help us become better traders? Well, I found a way to do just that. And it all starts with a powerful question you need to ask yourself before entering any trade. The question is, what is the absolute worst that could happen if this trade goes against me? And I mean the worst. Don't sugarcoat it. Let's say you are thinking about buying Microsoft stock or going long the euro-dollar forex pair. Your worst case scenario might be there is unexpected bad news and the price drops 5% in one day and you lose more money than you are comfortable with. Now here's where the magic happens. Instead of letting this scenario scare you into doing nothing, you use it to get ready. Ask yourself, number one, can I handle losing this much money? Number two, how much should I invest to keep my potential loss at a level I am okay with? Number three, What would be the first signs that things are going wrong? Number 4, when would I decide to close my trade to avoid this worst case scenario? By answering these questions, you are doing 2 powerful things. First, you are using your fear to create a solid plan. Second, you are getting yourself ready emotionally for what might go wrong. This preparation does something amazing. It turns your fear from something that holds you back into something that gives you confidence. Because now you are not just hoping for the best, you are ready for the worst. And here's the best part. When you are prepared for the worst, you're in a much better position to actually make money. You can make trades with a clearer head, stick to your plan, and make smarter decisions when things get tough. Remember, we are not trying to get rid of fear. We are learning to use it as a tool to make you a better trader. By using your fear to plan for the worst, you are not just protecting yourself, you are setting up yourself to master trading in the long run. Now, you've seen how top traders like George Soros used fear to their advantage. But what if you are just starting out? That is why I've created a free video training called the 7 Steps to Financial Freedom Through Trading. In it, you will learn a proven system for profitable trading in under 30 minutes. Over 4,000 traders have gotten access to this training all for free. Sign up for it using the link in the description below to get instant access and start your journey to profitable trading today. Now, did you know that the paralyzing fear that keeps you up at night over your trades is not your enemy? Here's how to use it to make better trades. Let me take you back to November 2021. I thought I had this trading thing figured out. My account was growing and I was feeling pretty confident. But then, things started to get weird. I would wake up in the middle of the night worried about my trades. And soon, I couldn't sleep at all. The fear of losing was keeping me up every night. During the day, I was still a mess. This fear was following me everywhere. I knew my trades were the source of this fear, but I couldn't bring myself to close them. After too many days and nights of this constant anxiety, it finally hit me. This was not working, and something had to change. I realized my trading was seriously out of sync with what I could handle emotionally. The fear was overwhelming. But how could I trade without this paralyzing fear? I needed a way to use this fear to my advantage, to make it work for me instead of against me. I found a way to turn this fear into my helper. And it all started with a simple question I began asking myself before every trade. The question was, can I sleep soundly with the amount I am risking on this trade? This question changed everything for me, and here's how to use it. Number 1, start by risking 1% of your account per trade. For a $5,000 account, that is $50. Number 2, imagine you've entered a trade risking that $50 and really feel it. Number 3, then picture yourself going to bed that night. Are you relaxed or stressed about potentially losing that $50? If you are stressed, reduce the risk. And if you are comfortable, stick with it for a week. Number 5, after a week, if you are still sleeping well, you might try slightly increasing your risk. Number 6, keep checking in with yourself and adjust as needed. This is not about getting rid of the fear. It is about using it as a gauge. That fear you feel, it's telling you something important about your risk tolerance. By listening to your fear, you are not just managing risk, you are getting stronger emotionally. You are learning to trade in a way that feels right for you, which will help you to think clearly and make better choices. And here's the best part. When you are risking an amount that does not keep you up at night, you are much more likely to stick to your plan. No more selling in a panic or making impulse trades at 2 a.m. Remember, your ideal risk level might change as your account grows or as you gain more experience. So always check in with yourself and be willing to adjust. The goal is not to be fearless. It is to use fear as a tool to help you become a better trader. So the next time you feel that fear creeping in, don't fight it. Use it. Let it guide you to the right risk level for each trade. This is another big step towards mastering trading. Your future, well-rested and more successful self will thank you. But what about when you are not afraid of losing, but are afraid of missing out on bigger profits. Would you believe that this FOMO can actually be your superpower for making profitable trades? Let me show you how. In January 2022, I was in the middle of a forex trade that was going well. I was in profit about equal to what I had risked. Not bad, I thought. But here is where it got tricky. I found myself paralyzed by indecision. Should I close this trade now and secure my profits? Or should I hold on, hoping for even bigger gains? I have lost money before by holding on too long and watched my profits turn into losses. But I've also kicked myself for closing too early and missing out on huge market rallies. I was caught between my fear of missing out and my fear of losing what I had already gained. I needed a better way to handle this, some kind of strategy to balance these fears and make them work for me. But how could I turn this ongoing problem into something that actually helped me to trade better? Then it hit me. The answer was right there. I found a way to solve this problem, and it all came down to a simple question I started asking myself before every trade. What is the minimum profit I'd be happy with considering the risk I am taking? And this question changed things for me. Here is how it works. Before you enter a trade, decide how much you are risking. Let's say it's $100. Now ask yourself, what's the least profit I'd be satisfied with for taking this $100 risk? For most trades, aiming for double your risk is a good start. In this case, that is $200 in profit. And here's the key. Once you set this target profit, stick to it. Don't get greedy and don't chicken out too early. This approach does something amazing. It turns your fear of missing out into a tool for discipline. Instead of worrying about squeezing out every last penny, now you have a clear and predefined profit target. And here's a practical tip to make this even more powerful. Use a reward to risk ratio of at least 2-to-1. This means for every dollar you risk, aim to make at least $2 in profit. Let's say you are taking a trade where your stop loss is 50 pips away. Set your take profit at least 100 pips in your favor. This way, you only need to be right just more than a third or 33.3% of the time to come out ahead in the long run. By following this rule, I found myself making more consistent profits. I'm not constantly second-guessing myself or kicking myself for missed opportunities. My fear of missing out has transformed into a powerful tool for smart and disciplined trading. Remember, it's not about getting rid of fear. It's about using it to help you. With this approach, you are turning your fear of missing out into something that keeps you focused and helps you to make better trades. But here's the thing, knowing these strategies is just the first step. Using them when your real money is on the line, that is where it gets tough. The key to making these strategies work is discipline. And if you want to build up your trading discipline quickly, then click to watch this video on your screen where I will show you 3 simple steps that will help you to become a disciplined trader fast. This will help you to apply these strategies easily and become profitable faster. So see you in that video.